Now we are passing on to the period of Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer, the period is between 1340 and 1400. 1340 and 1400. So the first question, what is the position of Geoffrey Chaucer in English literature? Geoffrey Chaucer is the greatest poet of the medieval age. He is one of the greatest of poets of all times. Geoffrey Chaucer is one of the greatest poets of all times. He is the first poet who introduced the present form of English versification in French mold. He is the first poet who introduced the present form of English versification in French mold. Number 2, give an account of Chaucer's life and career. Geoffrey Chaucer, the period is between 1340 and 1400, was born in London when Edward III was the ruler of Great Britain. He lived through the reigns of Edward III, Richard II, and also the first 2 years of Henry IV. He served as a courtier, soldier, diplomat, justice of peace, controller of customs, and deputy forester of the royal forest in Somerset. Deputy forester of the royal forest in Somerset. He was introduced to the royal court by his patron. Who was his patron? John of Gaunt. Gaunt. G-A-U-N-D, Gaunt. John of Gaunt introduced him to the royal court. He travelled far and wide. With the result, he had gained deep insight into human character. He visited Italy in 1372-73 period. 1372-73, and is believed to have met Petrarch, the Italian poet Petrarch, and Boccaccio. Chaucer married Filippo Root, R-O-E-T, Root, sister of John of Gaunt's third wife, and thereby enjoyed the favor and protection of his great patron. His wife was Filippo Root, sister of John of Gaunt's third wife, and he was able to enjoy the favor and protection of his great patron John of Gaunt. He died on the 25th October 1400. 25th October 1400, and was buried in Westminster Abbey, which portion later on came to be known as Poets' Corner. The outstanding social and economic features of the age of Chaucer. The outstanding or the most important social and economic features of the age of Chaucer. They are corruption in the church. Number 2, the decline of feudal system. New awakening in learning leading to Renaissance. So these are the social and economic features during the period of Chaucer. Describe the main events that took place during the Chaucerian age or the age of Chaucer. Number 1, rise of Lollard movement. LLARD, Lollard movement. That is a pro-Protestant Christian religious movement that existed from the mid 14th century until the 16th century Reformation. The founder of the Lollard movement was John Wycliffe, the morning star of Reformation. John Wycliffe. That is one of the events. And others are the Great Britain's 100 Years' War with France. Number 3, the Peasants' Revolt. Number 4, Black Death. That is the death caused by the pandemic called bubonic plague. It is called the Black Death. And number 5, using English as a medium in educational institutions, courts and British parliaments. The next question. Which are the most important literary works of Chaucer? Which are the most important literary works of Chaucer? They are the House of Fame, Troilus and Cressida, The Legend of Good Women, The Book of the Duchess, Parliament of Fowls, and The Canterbury Tales. The most famous among them, The Canterbury Tales. Which are the most important works? The House of Fame, Troilus and Cressida, The Legend of Good Women, The Books of the Duchess, Parliament of Fowls, The Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales. What do you know about the House of Fame? It's a poem designed as a dream. The poem is adopted from Dante's Divine Comedy. Then what do you know of Troilus and Cressida? Troilus and Cressida. It is a long poem of love story, partly translated from Boccaccio's Filostroto and partly original. Later Shakespeare modeled the story in the form of a play of the same title. What do you know about the Legend of Good Women? In the Legend of Good Women, Chaucer tells the love stories of women of history and legends. The book includes the stories of Cleopatra and Dido of Carthage. Dido of Carthage, the Phoenician city, who fallen in love with the prince from Troy, Aeneas. What do you know of the Book of Duchess? It is an elegy on the death of Blanche, the wife of John of Gaunt. Then what do you know of Parliament of Fowls? It's a remarkable short poem written to celebrate the marriage of Richard II to Anne of Bohemia in the year 1382. The poem adopts the dream setting technique and it describes in clear terms how the birds assemble to choose their mates. Then give an account of Canterbury Tales. Canterbury Tales, which is the most famous of his works. Canterbury Tales is a collection of stories fitted into a general framework adopting the technique of Boccaccio's Decameron and also that of Arabian Nights. A number of pilgrims, including Chaucer, collected from the cross-section of contemporary society, meet at the Tabardin, T-A-B-B-A-R-D, Tabardin, on the South Walk on the eve of their 4 days journey on horseback. A number of pilgrims, including Chaucer, collected from the cross-section of contemporary society, meet at the Tabardin on the South Walk on the eve of their 4 days journey on horseback. The pilgrimage is to the shrine of Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, who was murdered at the church cathedral at the instance of Henry II during the year 1172. Becket is considered to be a saint and martyr by the people of Great Britain. Harry Bailey, the jolly host of Tabardin, who is the host at Tabardin, Harry Bailey. His name is Harry Bailey. Harry Bailey, the jolly host of Tabardin, heartily welcomed the pilgrims, and in order to reduce the tedium of the journey, in order to reduce or alleviate the tedium or dullness of the journey, it was suggested that each member of the party shall tell two tales on the way to Canterbury and two tales on the way back. It was further proposed that the person who narrates the best story be treated by all the rest. The person who narrates the best story be treated by all the rest by a supper or return to Tabard. The proposal was accepted by all, and the result was the Canterbury Tales. But actually, 23 pilgrims had narrated these stories.